Once one has selected a database to use, one can then interact with the different tables that are present in the database through the use of the select statement. The select statement is the primary statement that one uses to query tables that are present in a database. Tables that are present in the database can be listed by clicking on the arrow to the left of the word tables under the name of the database. Clicking on the left arrow gives us a list of all the different tables that are present in the database that can be queried. The simplest form of the select statement allows one to get all of the data that is present in a table. The simplest form of the select statement is as follows. Select star from share is the simplest form of a select query. The specific template that we are using over here is select columns from a table. In this case, the symbol star is used to indicate that one wants to select everything. The from statement is used to specify the table one wants the data from. In this case, we want data that is present in the table share, and we want all of the data. All of the data means all the columns and all the rows that are present in that table. When we run this statement, we can see that this table has, as listed below in the response, 10 rows. The query is successfully executed, and we see that in these 10 rows there are 6 columns. The name of the columns are share code, share firm, share price, share quantity, share dividend, and share PE or price to earnings ratio. The select star statement can be used on any table listed over here. For instance, we can write select star from product if one wants to see the contents of a table called product. Some things to keep in mind. SQL is case sensitive when it comes to the names of tables. And so, please make sure that as you see the name of a table, that is the exact way one should spell it out, including the casing. In addition to selecting all the columns, the select statement allows us to select specific columns from the table. Coming back to the share table, as I said, select star allows me to select all of the columns. However, one might not want to view all of the columns, but only certain specific columns. In that case, we can replace the star with something else. We can replace star with the specific columns we want from the table. For instance, let's say I just want the name of the share and the price of the share. And so, instead of specifying star, I can specify the 2 columns I wish for. In this case, SHR firm and SHR price. So I type in SHR firm, a comma, and then SHR price. And when I run this query, I see that I get the 2 columns that I am interested in from this table. Now please note, I can have as many columns listed out as I wish. For instance, I know that SHR dividend was also one of the columns, and so if I wish to, I can add SHR div to the query. When I run it, I see SHR div also listed out. Again, another point to note with SQL is that it's not just table names that are case sensitive, column names are also case sensitive. And so if we are not very clear on the names of columns and tables, please make sure you are paying attention to the specific name of the column, the specific name of the table, and the case for those columns or tables. These columns that are listed from a table can be in any sequence. They do not have to be in the presented sequence. For instance, if I want to change the ordering of these columns as they show up, I can say select SHR price, SHR firm, and SHR dividend from share. And when I run it, the SQL statement, the select statement, presents the results as these columns are listed out in the select clause. Please note, this does not actually change any of the data that is present in the table. It is just changing what we see. One important thing to pay attention to is that when we are selecting columns from a table, in the result grid, we see the specific columns names, share price, SHR firm, and SHR div. These column names are not very descriptive. The as clause is a way to add more descriptive information or rename the columns as they are presented in the query result. Here's how one can use the as clause. Let's go back to the simplest form of select. Let's go back to the simple select query. Select SHR firm, SHR price, SHR div from share. Again, we see that we have these non-descriptive column headers. The as clause allows us to rename these as following. After the name of the column, SHR firm, I add as, and within quotes, either single quotes or double quotes, I can specify a more descriptive name. I can do this for each column. I don't have to do it for all of the columns. I can just do it for the columns I choose to. In this case, I'm just going to do it for all of them. And we see the column headers have changed to share firm, share price, and share dividend. One of the important things to keep in mind is that this does not actually change the name of the columns in the table. This changes the names of the columns as they are presented to us in the query result.